I wonder what kind of a poor family she's from. I will never let my son marry someone like you." With those words, my fiancé's mother suddenly poured a glass of champagne on me. Startled, I look around and saw his sister laughing in a vulgar manner. "How do you like your first champagne shower?" "It's the most luxurious use of it, isn't it?" Angry and trembling, I was approached by my parents. "Let's go home." "Yeah." "Well then, maybe we will let go of everything." My single remark silenced the room. My name is Angel, a 34-year-old accountant. I am currently in a relationship with a man named Patrick. We met through a friend's introduction. For some reason, she was absolutely convinced that Patrick and I would hit it off. Upon hearing that, I decided to meet him. At the time, I had just broken up with my boyfriend of 5 years and was feeling quite downhearted. I thought I didn't need another romantic relationship in my life. But my friend kept encouraging me to embark on a new romance, and I made up my mind to do so. And so, Patrick, my friend, and I met up. The first impression was neither particularly good nor bad, just average. He had a simple fashion sense, and his hairstyle was natural without being overly styled. While he exuded cleanliness, he wasn't the type I would normally be attracted to. Based on my previous experiences, I had tended to choose partners who had a slightly flashy vibes, with trendy clothes and hairstyles that clearly showed their sense of fashion. So initially, I wasn't particularly drawn to Patrick. I wondered why my friend had introduced him to me in the first place. However, as we continued to have meals together, his thoughtful nature caught my attention. "Would you like another drink?" "Oh, if you would like. This one is delicious. Would you like a bite?" "It's a bit chilly here. Shall we move?" I had never been shown such consideration by the man I had dated before. Looking back now, most of my boyfriends had a mentality of as long as I'm fine. In contrast, Patrick was very refined, and even his way of speaking was polite, giving off an impression of a good upbringing. Considering that I was already approaching 30, maybe it would be better to pursue a relationship with someone like him. I exchanged the contact information with Patrick. First, I wanted to become friends and get to know Patrick better. After that, we started exchanging messages frequently. In the midst of that, he invited me out for a meal, and we went on several dinner dates together. The time I spent with him turned out to be unexpectedly enjoyable. It was a strange sensation that I had never experienced with my previous boyfriends. It was a feeling of being at ease and finding happiness in being able to trust someone. And gradually, I felt myself becoming more and more attracted to him. He continued to make proactive moves afterwards. After about 6 months since we first met, we officially started dating. Unlike my previous boyfriends, our relationship was peaceful and enjoyable. Oh, I miss him so much. There were many times when I found myself thinking about Patrick out of the blue. He treated me like a princess. I never thought I would feel so happy to be cherished like this. As time went on, we didn't grow tired of each other or focus on each other's flaws. I used to think that's just how relationships were, that they had their ups and downs. But with Patrick, the more time we spent together, the deeper our happiness seemed to become. We continued our relationship smoothly, and before we knew it, 3 years had passed. I'm glad I introduced Patrick to you, Angel. You look so peaceful. Ah, my family said the same thing. They used to say I had intense eyes and looked angry all the time. But now, they say I look like a saint. That's funny. But I'm really relieved to see how happy you are. Yeah, thanks. Actually, I have another announcement to make. What is it? My friend looked at me with wide eyes, curious to hear the news. With a smile I couldn't contain, I shared the news with my friend. Patrick proposed to me the other day. What? Really? Finally! Yes, we're getting married. My friend's excitement grew as I nodded in confirmation. Congrats! That's amazing! Thank you. I'm incredibly happy. We'll have a wedding ceremony, so please come. Of course. I'll definitely be there. Yes. Recently, Patrick proposed to me, and we have decided to get married. I was extremely happy and immediately shared the news with my friend. Thanks to her introduction, I was able to be with Patrick like this. Afterward, I quickly informed my parents about the marriage. They were very happy and blessed my marriage.
Angel, getting married, huh? That's great news. Congratulations. Let's celebrate right away.
Yes, we should celebrate. Saying that, my parents prepared a lavish dinner. I was thrilled to be able to share the joyous news with my parents. A few days later, Patrick and I visited my parents' house again, this time with him.
I have come to seek your approval for marrying Angel. Hi, we're Angel's parents. Thank you for coming today, Patrick.
My parents were impressed by his polite greeting. They really liked him. Both of them had big smiles and blessed our marriage. And even after he left, my parents continued to praise him.
Patrick is a remarkable person.
Yes, he's so natural, yet he gives off a sense of reliability. It's no wonder he is the son of a company president. He's well-mannered. In fact, Patrick's father is a wealthy businessman who has been successful for generations. But Patrick himself never flaunts his wealth and has a down-to-earth sensibility. Both my parents and I highly evaluated him for that. I'm sure he will be a kind and wonderful husband even after we get married. For now, I'm glad that my parents approved of our marriage. Afterward, we planned to visit his parents' house and introduce ourselves. However, it turned out that his father was going on a business trip abroad for about 3 months. So we decided to visit them once his father returned. Babe, what's your family like? I thought I would ask various questions before going to greet them. But when I asked, Patrick seemed a bit puzzled.
My father is a truly respectable and wonderful person, but my mother and sister are a bit eccentric, you know.
Really? In what way?
It's like they constantly brag about their wealth. Their attitude towards people around them is terrible. I've always hated seeing that since I was a child. My mother would make derogatory comments about other moms, and I was always worried about being excluded by my classmates. My sister is also arrogant and has hurt many men. She has this sense of entitlement, expecting to be treated and showered with expensive gifts.
Wow, that's extreme. It must be challenging.
It's really troublesome. What's even worse is that they don't think what they did to hurt and distress others was wrong.
Listening to him talk about his family, I started feeling quite nervous. I wondered if his mother and sister would like me. To be honest, I'm not fond of people who judge others based on appearances or titles. But I won't know unless I meet them. Despite my anxiety, I made up my mind to meet his family without prejudice. And finally, the day came when his father returned from his business trip and we would meet his family. His father suggested that it would be a good opportunity for both families to have a formal introduction. So my parents also joined to meet them. Having my parents there with me was reassuring. Nice to meet you. I'm Angel. These are my parents. We greeted them politely, making sure to be respectful.
Well, welcome. Please, come inside.
To our surprise, It was Patrick's father who welcomed us into the house. I was expecting his mother to greet us at the entrance, so I was slightly taken aback. Only Patrick's father was there to welcome us at the front door. I wondered if his mother and sister were out somewhere. With that thought in mind, my parents and I were guided to the living room. I had thought Patrick's family home looked stylish from the outside, but the interior was even more impressive.
This is my wife and daughter Blair. Good to see you all.
Hi, I'm Blair. Nice to meet you. This is my parents. We greeted them respectfully, just as we did before. But Patrick's mother and sister looked me up and down and chuckled dismissively. Meh. So plain.
Yes. I wish you were wearing at least some high-end brands.
Was this the troublesome aspect of Patrick's mother and sister that he mentioned? I was taken aback and surprised that they would say such things right off the bat.
Come on.
What's both of you suddenly saying that? Whatever. What clothes someone wears shouldn't matter.
Oh, what are you talking about?
It's quite important.
You can tell someone's status by their clothes.
That's right. Well, first impressions are a veil. Like, poor people trying their best to buy slightly better clothes, but still giving off that vibe.
Blair, what are you saying? That's disrespectful.
Patrick's father got angry at Blair's rude remark. Thanks to him, they stayed silent for a moment. This occasion not only involved the announcement of our marriage and greetings, but also served as a meeting between both families. We were supposed to have a dinner together. As we took our seats, there were plenty of delicious-looking dishes laid out on the table. Being a food lover, my eyes sparkled as I looked at the food. At that moment, Patrick's mother noticed and smirked, saying,
So, have you ever had a feast like this before? You should eat as much as you can while you have the chance.
I couldn't help but feel a tinge of annoyance at her remarks. I didn't quite understand her, but I decided to brush it off and not engage in any confrontation. It won't do any good. Everything looks delicious, and I'm getting hungry.
I'm starving too. Let's begin.
Patrick's response aligned with me, and I was grateful for his support.
All right. Let's raise our glasses and make a toast.
Oh, we brought some champagne. So why don't we start with that? My parents handed the bottle of champagne to Patrick's father.
Thank you for your thoughtful gesture. This is a truly exquisite bottle.
With the addition of more alcohol, Patrick's mother and sister seemed to be lightened up and became more cheerful. Finally, the joint gathering and dinner began. This is delicious. I couldn't help but express my delight at the mouth-watering roast beef in front of me. Patrick's mother wore a smug expression in response to my comment.
What, of course? We ordered this luxurious roast beef from a high-end gourmet shop. I'm sure you've never even heard of this place, have you?
No, I haven't. Their consistent need to boast and show off was becoming quite tiresome. As the meal progressed, Patrick's mother and sister started drinking more and more, and their behavior became increasingly worse than before. They were clearly intoxicated, and their attitudes took a turn for the worse. Seriously, what does Patrick see in a girl like her? She doesn't seem to have any money. And her looks are just average.
Well, that's true. This boy has always had poor judgment.
It's because you dress so plain and cheap that you attract low-quality women. And if they find out his father is a president, They'll do anything to marry into his family.
Will you both, please, stop it? Angel is not the kind of person who would make a decision based on such things.
Patrick. I had reached my limit of anger towards his mother and sister. But when Patrick stood up for me, it helped me regain some composure. However, his intervention only fueled his mother and sister's anger even more. Oh my! I wonder which poor person is responsible for making Patrick oblivious like this.
That's right. I will never let someone like you marry my son.
And then, in the next moment, Patrick's mother poured champagne over me. Everyone, including myself, was shocked. And upon seeing this, his sister burst into laughter. How do you like your first champagne shower? I bet you've never experienced such luxury before. A moment of silence fell over the room.
Hey, what are you doing?
Patrick's father hurriedly intervened and stopped the commotion. Then Patrick quickly brought a towel and handed it to me. I wiped my wet hair and clothes while glaring at Patrick's mother and sister. As I trembled with anger, my parents stood up and spoke to me.
Let's go home.
Yeah, I agreed with my parents' words and stood up. Oh, if you were leaving, does that mean you were calling up the wedding? Who knows? But maybe we'll let go of everything. Upon hearing my words, Patrick's family became unsettled.
Wait, Angel? What do you mean by letting go of everything?
Are you saying we should cancel the marriage? Patrick, let my father explain. I said that, and my father began to explain.
Let's put the marriage aside for now. It's about your father's company. Actually, my father, Angel's grandfather, is the majority shareholder.
Huh?
So my father has the right to fire someone or interfere in the management. What are you saying? I could ask my father to remove the current president. That's... Well, it depends on the attitude of your wife and daughter, I guess.
When my father said that, Patrick's father started trembling.
I'm terribly sorry. My wife and daughter. I will cut off all family ties immediately, so... Wait, what are you saying? Shut up. I can no longer tolerate your arrogance. I won't let you do as you please anymore. What are you talking about? Divorce? What? You... How could you?
Daddy! Patrick's mother was suddenly faced with the prospect of divorce, and her face turned pale.
If you abandon me, where else can I go? Who knows? You can go out and get a job or something. Blair, you should leave this house too. We can't continue pampering you like this. Both of you, pack your things and leave immediately.
Patrick's father erupted in anger and shouted all at once. Everyone present understood that he was serious about what he said. Patrick's mother and sister pleaded desperately while looking pale. And then, they kneeled down and apologized to us.
I'm sorry. Please, forgive me.
I don't know. Or are you only saying that because you want to save yourselves? You don't feel a shred of remorse towards us, do you? After I firmly stated that, Patrick continued.
I want to marry Angel. If it means kicking you out, I'd gladly do it.
Upon hearing her son speak like that, Patrick's mother and sister turned even paler. Then Patrick's father spoke up.
I apologize. It's unfortunate that things turned out this way after you came all the way here today. We will arrange another opportunity for a meal at a later date. So please go home today.
Patrick's father repeatedly bowed his head to us until we left the house. The next day, we received a call from Patrick informing us that his mother and sister were kicked out. In response to that, we decided not to dismiss Patrick's father, and we were immediately told that he wanted to meet both families again. This time, we agreed to have a meal together at a restaurant, and we all enjoyed the dinner. And then, Patrick and I got married successfully. By the way, as for the subsequent event involving my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, my mother-in-law was served with divorce papers by my father-in-law, and they divorced. Currently, they are living as freeloaders in a relative's house while working to earn a living, including the household chores they used to leave to housekeepers. However, both of them still have their extravagant spending habits and continue to accumulate debts while buying luxury brands. Do they realize the dire consequences that lie ahead if they continue like this? It's undoubtedly a tragic outcome, but it no longer concerns us. I intend to cherish my husband, my parents, and my father-in-law, and live a happy and peaceful life.